Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. Today, I'm up in my office, my studio up here. I've got my headset on, brown hair, brown eyes. I've got an I Am Me t-shirt on since Bob and I from Epiphany Now yesterday talked about this very quote a lot. And shout out to B House Original, Britt House. Been thinking about you, man. And one more mention for We Are the Fledge, which is coming up on Saturday. It's a 13-hour telethon, pledgeathon, if you will. And we will have 13 hours of speakers and testimonials and a ton of great musicians. We got Ruckus, we got MY, we've got Non-Binary, and a bunch more that we'll be publishing today. So stay tuned for that lineup. You're not here for a commercial, though. You're here to meet our good friend, Erin. How you doing, Erin?
Hi, good.
So what you been doing today?
Oh, I've been cooking. I've been doing some computer work with my business, and I had a chiropractor appointment and ate lunch and got ready, and now I'm here.
Now I'm going to work on my posture during the meeting because I'm always moving around so much. So
moving is actually really good for your body.
Oh, good. Then I'm going to keep moving. My dad tells me to sit still during my show, and I told him no.
It's better to move.
All right. That's good. I'm glad that your advice is consistent with what I want. So let's jump into you. Tell us about you. Where were you born and raised and all that?
So I was born in Decatur, Illinois, and I lived there just the first 3 years of my life. A lot of my family still lives there. But my parents moved us to Cairo, Michigan. It's in the thumb. And my dad had a job there. So that was where I was raised. Nice small town surrounded by even smaller towns. It was a nice community to grow up in. It was safe and close, you know, the same people that you know from kindergarten, through your senior year. So you get pretty close to people. However, after that, I was ready to get out of the small town atmosphere. So I decided to go to MSU. So that was where I went to college and expanded my horizons, got to meet people from all over the world, and that excited me. I really like people. I'm a people person, and I love meeting about new cultures and different ethnicities and stuff. So that was a neat experience.
What did you study at MSU?
I studied engineering. So I was good at math and science, physics and chemistry and all that. And so I thought that would be the best career path for me. So I got a degree in it. And then we moved to Cleveland. My boyfriend at the time turned husband, now his ex-husband, he went to law school in Cleveland. So we moved to Cleveland, and I got a job there as an engineer and worked almost a year and realized I'm not fit for that kind of a career because you have to sit still all day at a computer. And I don't like sitting still. I'm like you. I don't like sitting still. And it just made me tired. It was, I enjoyed the work to an extent because it made me feel accomplished and smart, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I realized I needed something that nurtured my soul more. So at some point a few years later, I went to yoga training and became a yoga teacher, and that was much more fulfilling. I was able to bring this kind of peace and grounding to people that I found through yoga. So when I first learned yoga, I just fell in love with it because it was the first time I was able to quiet my mind. I had such a busy mind, and I had kids by this point. I had 3 kids by the time I trained to be a yoga teacher. So as you can imagine, I was busy all the time. And so it was so nice to be able to just like find this peace and quiet and this centering and this grounding, and that I fell in love with it, and I just wanted to learn as much as I possibly could about it. I didn't actually anticipate being a teacher. I just thought that was scary to be a teacher. But I just wanted to learn as much as I could. So I went to the training, and then eventually I did decide, yes, I want to be a teacher, and I love it. I really love it.
So did I pick a good tapestry for you in the background there?
Yes, you did. Actually, I was thinking that. Yes, there's something similar in my apartment. It resonates with me. So, yes.
So back to Cleveland for a second.
Sure.
Have you saw the Ron Burgundy campaign for Make Lansing Classy again? He's
No.
running for mayor of Lansing. Do you know who Ron Burgundy is?
Yes.
Yeah, so he said, or there's a banner up somewhere. Hey, Lansing, at least you're not Cleveland. The Hall of Fame Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's in Cleveland.
Yeah,
though, right?
they had a really cool science museum too that we took the kids to. That was really fun. It actually improved quite a bit while we were there. It has some areas that are not in the Cleveland district, but it's just outside of Cleveland that's kind of run down and boarded up, and but so does every city like Detroit. Any big city I've been to has their areas, but for the most part the city itself is beautiful, and they had a lot going for it. I liked living there.
So I love this word abundance. I love it. I say it every day. I think about it every day. I quote things about it every day. Tell us about Abundance Cafe.
Okay, so Abundance Cafe. I guess I'll start at the beginning. The beginning would be probably about 15 years ago when my kids were little. So my youngest is 18 now, so she was 3 at the time. It was right around then that I realized, well, I already had this feeling that I wanted to own my own business someday. And I just was kind of looking, what is it that I want to do? And at that point, I would take my family out to eat about once a week. And the rest of the time I cooked, homemade meals and pretty healthy food. And so when we would go out to eat, a lot of times, we would have reactions, or, my son would end up in the bathroom. Like it just wasn't conducive to a healthy lifestyle. And it was really difficult to find a place to take them out to eat that everything was not fried, or, it was a little frustrating as a parent to know that my kids weren't getting healthy food, or even an option, like there might be broccoli on the menu, but most of the food was not very healthy. So that was when I decided, you know what, I think I need to start my own restaurant that serves just healthy food. Like you go there and it's not even an option to get fried food. Like you can't even get something unhealthy there. Why is that not a thing? So that was when the idea was born. And then now go about 10 years past that into the future, which was 5 years ago now, I started Abundance Cafe. So I went to the Allen Neighborhood Center. They have an incubator kitchen, and I rented that from them, and I was able to use their farmers market, because when you use their incubator kitchen, you get a spot at their farmers market. And so I made granola and I made soup in the beginning. So different soup each week, and then I would sell it at the farmers markets. And I did the DeWitt Farmers Market, and I also did the Meridian Farmers Market. So I was doing 3 farmers markets, and then throughout the last few years, I've kind of changed markets around a little bit, and I've also changed kitchens. I found some different ones that were better for me. And so last year, actually it was 2019, was the first time I branched out and I decided to do a cafe pop-up. So a pop-up is, basically cafe for the day. It was at a location that wasn't a restaurant. So I had made all the food in my kitchen that I was renting and brought it over and kept it warm there, or cold. And then had like a little cafe lunch. So people came, and that was really successful. And then a few months later in January of 2020, I did another one for just 2 days. And then that was pretty successful. It was a great learning experience and practice. And then now in 2021, I decided to do some more pop-ups. So my boss, so basically I work at Morton's Fine Catering. I work in their kitchen. So I do like their desserts and salads, and I work there and also use their kitchen, and they own the Old Town Marquee. So the Old Town Marquee is where I had my first pop-ups. I rented it from them. And then my boss said, you can rent it for all week if you want, because we're not using it right now during COVID, because there's no wedding receptions or anything going on. So I was like, So I decided to start doing 4 days a week and see what happened. So that was in the beginning of November. So I got 2 weeks in and it got closed down because all restaurants had to close down. However, those 2 weeks were a great learning experience for me. And I got a decent amount of customers. A lot of people in Old Town came. Some people just got takeout, but some people ate there. We had a lot of space, so everything was very spaced out and people wore masks and stuff. So that was that. And then I decided once we shut down, I decided to start doing weekly deliveries. So that's where I'm at right now. I've been doing that ever since November. Basically what I do is I have a Facebook page and people go on there and they can see my menu and they place an order. I'll post it today, probably. It's usually Thursday or Friday. I post the menu and then they have to order by by Sunday at 8 p.m. So they place all their orders by Sunday, and then Monday I wake up, I go grocery shopping, and I make all the food all day Monday, and then Tuesday I deliver it all. So it's refrigerated, but ready to be heated and eaten throughout the week. So my customers are loving it because I have a lot of vegan options. I don't put wheat in any of my food, so I don't call it gluten-free because I don't cook in a gluten-free kitchen, so there could be trace amounts of gluten. However, I don't add any gluten. So as long as you don't have a super high sensitivity to gluten, most people who are gluten-free can eat my food.
Okay. So what's the website where people can look at those choices? Well,
the website is actually, I'm working on getting a new website, but it's on Facebook, Abundance Cafe. I think there's the name was something like Nourishment for Your Mind, Body, and Soul or something. But if you just search for Abundance Cafe in Lansing on Facebook, you'll find me. And I get new followers every week. I've been getting new customers every week. So that's really exciting. So Abundance Cafe has come a long way, and this is actually the first time I've really started making a profit. So farmers markets are great. It's great exposure. It's a great way to get customers to find out about me and find out about my food and get addicted. However, I make a certain amount and I never know how much I'm going to sell. So sometimes I only sell half of it and I take the rest home and give it away to my friends or eat it or whatever. But that's all loss, so it's hard to make a profit in that situation. And it's a lot of time and effort. So I'm actually at this point that I'm doing these, pre-orders that I know exactly what size batches to make in order to sell it. I do like to have a little extra because I eat it throughout the week too. So it works out a lot better for me. And I'm also having a new addition to my business is Red Bike Delivery has been delivering the last few weeks for me in addition to me delivering. So he does the more local stuff that he can ride his bike to from Morton's Fine Catering, which is where I do all the cooking. And so, he delivers all the closer things, he says a 3-mile radius, but he's gone 5 miles, he'll go further. I just show him what I've got that's not too far, and he picks, pretty much everything. So he's been a really big help. Jeremy has been a real big help because I've been getting more orders every week. So that's wonderful.
Hey, Violet said something that I was thinking at the same time. It's tough to get into the food business and start, having a profit there and all of that. Yeah. But I just, I love Ellen Neighborhood Center for their ability to give a boost.
Yeah.
It's not always for everybody, but I just like that idea of, the way that you kind of bootstrapped up and figured it out. You got a little serendipity, probably a little luck in there once in a while.
Yeah, and they connected me with the Small Business Development Center also, which I took some classes there, and I see an advisor there who has been helping me with my business plan. They're very helpful there. It's all free. If somebody is watching and they are interested in having their own business or already have their own small business, and if you don't know about the Small Business Development Center, you should really go there, because they definitely help with the steps that you don't know what you're doing. Because that's, I'm like, business plan, what am I doing? And they're like, we'll hold your hand. Like, we got this, so they've been helping me with every step of the way, and I'm so grateful. But yeah, the serendipity, at farmers markets, I've met different farmers that I'm like, maybe these guys can and get some, I've been buying food from them, but maybe they can be some of my suppliers. I've also connected with Apple Blossom Kombucha, Kaylee, my friend that she sells her kombucha at farmers markets. Now she has her own store right across from Frandor on Saginaw. I'm so proud of her and so excited for her that she's made that step. I also met Roxanne of Gluten Free Rocks, and she makes gluten-free products, and that is right up my alley with my customers. So I was like, well, I might as well sell some of your stuff. So I sell the kombucha and I sell the gluten-free products. I also connected with Rust Belt Roastery. Drew is the owner there, and he is wonderful. And they roast all of their beans using hickory wood. They don't use any gas, so it's a cleaner kind of a roast, and you taste the difference. I love their coffee. So I got addicted, and I'm like, I got to sell this too, so that's my coffee that I sell. And I sell the whole beans is what I sell. So right now, but once my cafe opens, I will sell pour over cups of coffee of Rust Belt. Let's see, I'm forgetting one person. Oh yes. Grand Traverse Sauce Company. I also met them through the farmers markets, and I sell the sauces as well. So I just sell right now. I'm just selling these like little, I think like 2-ounce bottles or so. I think it's 2-ounce bottles for $5. So, and those are all made in Traverse City, and they're, like healthy ingredients. I only buy the ones right now. I only use the ones that have no preservatives or anything, because I don't use any preservatives in my products, and I don't think it's good for you. So I'm like, hey, they got some without preservatives. That's what I'm all about. So yeah.
Well, so I can't remember. I got to find Violet's comment, because I put a bunch of, you made me spell a lot of words.
I saw Violet's comment. She said, it's hard to make a profit the first year. And Thank you, Violet. I appreciate that. I don't really consider this. Oh yeah, there's another. Doing your business versus running your business. Yes, learning how to run a biz can stray from our passions.
Yeah. And that's when you were kind of talking about the SBDC there. Mm-hmm. But I just want to compliment you on just throwing in the whole ecosystem. And really, giving shout out to our local friends here is so important. And kudos to you for doing that. And kudos to you to go out and find those resources to make your business work.
Yes.
Because most people don't, and they don't realize how big this ecosystem is. So many people want to help you start your business. There's almost too many people that want to help you.
Yeah. And there's some people that have more of a competitive attitude, and they're like, if I give to this person, it'll take away from me. I'm totally the opposite. I think the more we give, the more we receive, and, my first year doing the farmers markets, it was just me. And I remember thinking, how do I get from here to having a flourishing cafe with lots of people, with lots of products, with lots of stuff? And I thought, you know what? I need people. I need a team. I need networking. I need, and so I asked for that. I asked the universe, I'm like, help me to find these connections. Help me to find what I need for this. And I did. It was like magic. I'd meet people at the farmers markets. I'd meet people on the street, just anywhere. And the connections and the magic started happening. And I can't do this alone. I don't want to do this alone. I can't make kombucha. I don't know how to roast coffee beans, but these people do. And so I think it's really awesome that we can all help each other out and network, like that's one of the definitions of abundance, Abundance Cafe. I think there's a lot of ways that abundance plays into that. And that's one of them. Another way would be there's an abundance of nutrients and vegetables and ingredients in my products. If you ever buy one of my like any of my soups, you will find there's not just like 3 ingredients, like some soups might have, you know, you're going to find like 7 vegetables or, you know, something like all of them have just an abundance of ingredients because all the different vegetables have different nutrients. And so the more that we have, the more nutrients we have, and the healthier we are, the more energetic we are, and the happier we are. It's another thing that the abundance of these nutrients brings us an abundance in our lives. So like it affects every part of our being, you know? So I think I don't think everybody realizes that, you know, that your food affects every part of you, including your mental state. You know, if you have trouble concentrating, it might be because you ate McDonald's for lunch or candy, you know, like, just a thought. If you're unhappy or depressed, it can play a huge part. It can actually help your mood and lift your spirits, you know, to eat healthier. I've seen that in my own life. I actually, it's interesting because right around the time that I started my business, I started having some reactions to food. And I didn't know it was food at first. I was just breaking out. I had these spots all over my body. And they didn't really itch or anything, just red spots, like all looked like chicken pox almost. It was weird. And so I went to the doctor. They tried these different, you know, medicines, an antibiotic and an antiviral that didn't help. And I talked to a friend and she said, have you ever tried clean eating? And I said, no, I don't even know what that is. She's like, well, I suggest it. You know, she watched a documentary where somebody did that and it worked. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And so I looked it up. Clean eating is basically getting rid of processed foods. And that was huge. It was huge for me because I ate cereal every day, at least once, which is processed, you know, and crackers and potato chips. And, you know, even though I considered myself healthy, because I still ate lots of fruits and vegetables, I also was eating a lot of these processed foods. But now at this point, I decided I'm going to get rid of them and see what happens. Within 24 hours, those spots all went away. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. But then I kind of wanted to find out what is it that actually worked, because I got rid of like dairy products, got rid of all my cereal, so I would occasionally try something that I gotten rid of and see if I'd react. And sure enough, I did react. I didn't get the full body reaction, but I would get spots on my face and like a little rash on my forehead. So those were my warning signs. It's like, okay, you just ate something that is making you react. So my body has been my teacher through all this, which is pretty awesome. And I've learned that some preservatives make me react. Gluten makes me react. Canola oil, soy oil and soy sauce, which it never used to make me react. It's weird that just, you get to a certain age and all of a sudden your body's like, okay, I'm done with that. You've been feeding me that long enough. Protesting. So
I every time you said abundance, and basically you used it 3 different kind of phases or examples of it, you always said, and that leads to. And I love how you're showing how abundance creates abundance. I mean, you said that.
Yeah.
And yesterday on the show, we talked about kindness creates kindness, which I think kindness is a subset of abundance. I mean, I like abundance is like my goddess, if you will.
Yeah.
And there's so much. I mean, it protects you in the future. Your health outcomes later on in life are going to be better if you eat better when you're young and continue that diet. It protects the environment. There's a lot of positive stuff happening in the comments to the right here. What would you say your mission is for Abundance Cafe?
My mission for Abundance Cafe is to help people be healthier and happier and have more abundance in their lives, an abundance of joy and love and peace. Those are 3 things that I hold dearly. Through yoga, those are also, yoga's been another way for me to spread those. But I want to spread that through this business. And I also want to teach yoga at this business eventually. That'll be like phase 2 of the business plan. But I can't handle too many things at once. So I'm like, okay, focus on this first step, because opening a cafe is a lot. There's a lot of steps. There's a lot involved. But then once that's underway, then I'm hoping to get a yoga room going and teach yoga also. But Yeah, my mission is for people to feel the love through the food and experience the joy and the energy that it brings you. And also the atmosphere of the cafe. When I open, I want people to experience like peace and joy and love and, just feel good when they come in, so I want that. I think that atmosphere is everything. I've always been a big atmosphere person. And I really appreciate a good atmosphere. And I think other people do too. I would like to have live music there, whenever possible. I mean, it'll be the busier times, that I'll have the live music. But there'll always be some kind of music. There'll be art on the walls. It'll be very artsy. I'm hoping to open up in Old Town. Working on finding that location that's perfect. But Old Town is very artsy, and I love Old Town. I love the community there. All the businesses support each other. And when I was there at the Old Town Marquee and I went around and handed out flyers to the businesses, everyone was so welcoming and encouraging. And like some people offered to hand out flyers to the customers for me, and they're just very supportive. So I really feel drawn to that community, and I'm hoping that's where I get to open up. So we'll see.
So what's something you do every damn day to push that mission forward? And while you're answering, I'm going to be able to hear you, but I got to just go off screen for a second because I got to grab something that's out of my reach. Sure. And it'll make sense in a second. Okay. So.
Something I do every damn day to support my mission. Well, I post on Facebook. That's just about every damn day. You know what? I guess I don't always post on Facebook. I think the thing I do every single day is I say what I'm grateful for. So I believe in God and I talk to God, and that's, I guess, my form of prayer is I just thank God for all the blessings in my life that I can think of. And I read a really good book over this pandemic called The Magic. And it's like the follow-up from The Secret, if you've read The Secret. And it's basically saying that the magic is gratitude. So gratitude is everything. And, like when you are grateful, you draw to you more reasons to be grateful. So and not only that, when you're grateful, you're happy. It's really hard to not have joy in your heart when you're thinking about how grateful you are that you're alive and that you have, all these blessings in your life. So, my three biggest blessings in my life are my kids. I have 3 children. They're not children anymore. They're adults. My oldest is 25, Cameron. He's in Colorado. And my second is Taylor, and he's in Lansing. And then my third is Lauren, and she is up in Marquette, going to Northern Michigan. All 3 of them are so precious to me, and they are everything to me. And I just hope that, that's one thing in my life that I strive to do is just to be a good example to them, and to always be there for them. And my kids, they make me so happy. Like, I feel like I'm going to tear up here, but also, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my customers and my business. I'm grateful for all the support I have. I'm grateful for this earth that we live on, all the nature that surrounds us, the clean air that we get to breathe, the clean water we get to drink, a roof over my head. I'm grateful for my body and being physically able. I'm grateful for my 5 senses. I mean, I could go on. Like sometimes I do. Sometimes I do go on and on. Just depends on the day and how much time I have. But it always fills my heart with joy. And I think that is helping my business. I really do, because it's keeping me in the right mindset. I don't get bogged down when things don't go my way, which of course in any business you have your days, where, oh shoot, that didn't get cooked enough. That just happened the other day. Like, oh, I wish that was cooked a little more. And and it made me a little bit frustrated for a moment. And then I posted about it. I told my customers, I said, hey guys, sorry, this isn't quite as done as I would like, but you can heat it up, cook it a little longer if you want. Well, all the posts that I got several of my customers posted comments that they love my food. They loved it a little they loved the vegetables a little crunchy. And it was just like all this gratitude from them, you know? So like, I feel like the gratitude that I give out is coming back to me, and it's the circular pattern. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's working the way it's supposed to work. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
So we daisy chain these shows together, and yesterday I had Bob Hoffman from Epiphany Now, epiphanynow.org, not spelled properly. His question to you is, what's something that some lesson from COVID-19, from the pandemic that you're going to take on with you forever?
You know what? I would think that the lesson that I learned from COVID, the biggest one, I think the best one, would be to value the people in my life and to let them know that I value them. You know, so I go into work now. I still work at Morton's, but we don't get as much work right now because it's still the pandemic, and it's a catering service that caters bigger parties, you know, so we don't have as many parties to cater. But I still go in occasionally and see some of my friends at work, and it's just so wonderful to see them, you know. And before, I took that for granted. I was just like, oh, they're just work friends. Like, I see them every day, not a big deal. But now when I see them, it's just like, oh, it's so good to see you, you know. And also work is wonderful, you know. Like, I took work for granted. Oh, I got to go to work. I got to wake up early and go to work, you know. And I mean, I did appreciate having a job, but I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now, you know, now that it's more scarce, you know. It's like, wow, I get to go to work. That is literally what I say. I get to go to work today. And so it's a whole different perspective change.
It's so funny. I was going to ask you that. Do you now say I get to go to work? Yeah, you said it.
Yep.
I love that phrase. Gratitude is magic. I keep thinking about that. I can't get it off my mind because I almost said that abundance is the magic. Yesterday we were talking about kindness as a drug. Like it makes you feel so great.
Yeah.
But gratitude makes you feel great too.
Yeah.
And yeah, gratitude for your friends and the things we take advantage of.
Absolutely.
I think that's a good takeaway from here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow on the show, we have Vicki Hamilton with Habitat for Humanity of Greater Lansing. I hope that's right, but Habitat for Humanity. What question would you like to ask Vicki?
I would like to ask Vicki, what memorable experience in your life was the most transformative, just changed you the most?
And what about for you?
What would my answer be to that question?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I guess I'd have to say COVID-19.
Yeah.
You know what? This has been the most transformative year of my life. And I've had some big transformations. But yeah, it was like transformation after transformation during this period, this pandemic. And, you know, it's weird because I know people have died. I know people have gotten sick, and there's been a lot of people losing work, losing their businesses. Like, I know that overall, like, there's some bad things that have gone on with this pandemic, and I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to, like, you know, overlook that. Like, I definitely feel for those people that have suffered. However, for me, it has been a huge eye-opening experience. I actually took it upon myself to go out into nature more often because when I was alone, I was lonely and I was bored and I don't sit still very well. I get sore just sitting, you know. So I knew I needed to move. And when, like, the first few months, especially when I had no work and it was just kind of like, everybody stay home, don't go anywhere, don't do anything, you know, I found out the nature parks were still open. So I was like, okay, this is something I can do and keep my distance. And it was kind of like a monk going up into the mountain for a while and just being alone. It was very transformative. I bonded with nature, and nature actually taught me things that I never noticed before. And it was just huge. It was very eye-opening.
Yeah. I think that is such a great question. I can't wait to see what Vicky says. And I love that answer. Do you think,
Thank you.
when we all get to come and sit in the Abundance Cafe, that will be transformed in our experience?
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. I
I
sure
bet.
hope that you feel more peace and love and joy there than you normally would find in a restaurant or cafe.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's not built on the same premise of fry everything, give as much sugar as possible. And
yeah, and it's like, I think it's also different in the fact that I have your best interests in mind,
Yeah.
where it's not just, okay, because I've had people give me advice. Oh, Erin, you should make this loaded baked potato soup because everybody loves that, And I'm like, well, yeah, that's great and all, but it's not really healthy, and so I won't make it, So I want you to be healthy, It's not because I know you would buy it, and I'd probably sell more if I made the loaded baked potato soup, but it's not going to make you feel great. And I want you to leave my cafe feeling better than you came in, Okay. So I think that's a big difference. It's not just about making money. It's about improving people, helping them. And people want to improve. And I feel like in today's day and age, there's more people than ever that are health conscious or turning towards that. They may just be turning the page. Maybe they're just starting. But they're looking for someone to help them and show them the way, and I'm so grateful that I can help people. I've had customers tell me that they've eaten canned food most of their life, and now they're excited to learn about healthier options. And so I'm excited to help them learn, and maybe someday I'll have a class that I'll teach at my kitchen or my cafe that people can come in and learn. I have a connection with a nutritionist. Her name's Mushimi, and she does a weekly thing where she educates people about nutrition. I would love her to come into my cafe and teach people, about nutrition too. Yeah. In abundance, again, I would like to, once I have that yoga studio open, I would like to also have other healthy things taught there. Meditation, maybe Tai Chi. There's a wonderful woman, Betty, that does sound. She does this really cool thing with like singing bowls and bells, and she does sound baths. Awesome. She does sound baths, they call them, and it's awesome. It makes you feel so good. I would love to have her come in, just lots of different things that just help to lift the spirits and make you feel better.
I think you're winning some fans here. We all want to come in and be transformed.
All right.
What is happiness to you, and are you happy?
I would say I'm definitely happy. And happiness to me is, I guess, being grateful. I think that is so connected for me. I told you I read that book. That transformed me, the magic. It transformed me. I have always been pretty grateful because I grew up, my mom's a grateful person, so she taught me that. But that book taught me to be more grateful than I ever knew I could be. And I'll tell you what, sometimes it just brings tears to my eyes how grateful I am. And it makes me so happy. And it makes me more fulfilled than anything else is gratitude. And so I feel like that is happiness. And of course, I always think of my kids when I think of happiness too. They make me happier than anyone else. I love all people. People make me happy. I love making new connections with customers. I love all of my friends and family. I just love people. People are good. And I think, people who watch too much news get a bad feeling about people in general. And they might even tell you the world is mostly bad if they watch the news all the time. I've heard people say that. I so don't believe that. The world is mostly good. There are more good people out there with good hearts than there are bad. There's an abundance of good people.
It's amazing how much you're connecting to yesterday's show. I mean, we talked about that same thing. They want to spread good news. They want to give it forward or pass it forward is what they say. So
awesome.
I love your energy. I love this
thank you.
abundance mentality, this gratuity view. I love it.
Thank you.
What gives you hope?
Gives me hope. children give me hope. Children laughing, that gives me hope. Children creating and just their imagination, that's hope for our future right there. Like, I loved being a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't able to do it the entire time because I had to work some of the years, but for many years I was able to stay home with my kids, and they give me hope for the future. Like they have such a positive outlook, and they will accomplish beautiful things. And I think they will make this world a better place. Not just my kids, but most all kids,
Yeah. So, did we forget to talk about anything? Anything you want to promote, or any events, or?
Not really. I'm planning on opening up my cafe hopefully this summer. I am in the look for the location now, and I'll be posting updates on my Facebook page if you follow me. But that's the most exciting thing going on with me right now. I've just completed my business plan and my cost analysis, and I'll be looking for loans soon, and taking all those scary steps. So that's the biggest thing for me. I would also like to promote Morton's Fine Catering. Beth and John Morton are my bosses, and they are wonderful human beings. They have supported me through this and given me advice, and
An old Lansing family, and a business that's been around for quite a long time too, right?
Yeah. They've been around. I think they've been open at least 15 years, or at least in that location, 15 years. I don't know exactly how long they've been open, but they have been around for a long time, and they've owned the Old Town Marquee for quite a while. And they're just wonderful people. So, if you have any, and the food is delicious also. It's Morton's Fine Catering, so it's a little bit fancier than some of the other catering places around. And they do a great job. And I work with the head cook there is Luis, and he's one of my best friends. And he does an amazing job. He's a perfectionist, and he's going to make sure all the food turns out great every time. And they're just a great family. It's not just a business, it's a family. So like I said, I love going to work and seeing my friends there. That's my extended family, so good people. I definitely recommend supporting them.
Not put their website, or I'm trying to. Yeah, their website's out.
Awesome. Thank you.
So as we wrap up here, what would you like to take us out with?
I guess I would just like to say, I recommend that everybody look for reasons to be grateful, because that is really where the magic is. And if you're having trouble, read the book, The Magic, because it helps you list off things. Like, it gives you a little daily assignment every day until you're just you can't help but be grateful. And so if you're ever having a bad day and things are looking down, just start listing off all the reasons you have to be grateful, and you won't feel sad anymore. It turns it around. It's magic.
So, who's, oh, never mind. Someone with the last name of Morton just signed up for the show, but I'm going to I have to read too much to really figure it out. So, you brought me this Abundance Cafe, abundantly fruity granola.
Yes.
I wanted to eat some during the show, but I think it's going to be crunchy, and I didn't want to crunch over you. But I'm going to definitely have a taste. I already know I love it because I already know I love it. But thank you very much. I'm going to take us out with see you all later. And every damn day at 2, check out the Fledge's Facebook page for the We Are the Fledge, and search up Abundance Cafe. I've got the links there. But find them on Facebook, order some food this week, and start living a little bit more nutritionally. Harm reduction. Do it a little bit at a time until you're converted. So I'm taking my bite now. Love y'all. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Erin. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.